name is Rachelle Smith, certified personal fitness trainer, professional speaker, and author. Last time I highlighted Dr. Scott Grodman, who talked to us about the importance of foot care and fitness. And this time I actually want to highlight something that is very, very important. And I've written a book on leadership. I'm very passionate about leadership and leadership development. And I'm going to expand my leadership development efforts and activities to gym and facility owners and managers. So what you'll start to see on some Fitness Fridays, I'm going to sprinkle some topics that will be specifically applicable to those in leadership roles. And today is one of those days. I want to kick off this kind of leadership series with liability, fitness center liability, which is an absolute huge one. I want to kick things off. I like the way Professor Alan Childress of the Tulane School of Law in New Orleans says, common sense is the measure of legal liability. Think about that. Common sense. So think about the day-to-day operations of your facility. Common sense. Is it reasonable that this is happening? Is it reasonable that this isn't happening? What should be reasonably done in this situation? Wonderful, wonderful, simple way to understand the role of common sense and liability. Now I want to highlight a couple of law group websites, both out of Chicago, that provide some additional insight to this issue of liability, specifically regarding gyms and fitness facilities. Staver Law Group's website says, the owners or operators of gyms, fitness centers, or health clubs have a responsibility under premises liability law, and that's a big one. If you're not familiar with premises liability law, I encourage you to get on it, to keep their premises safe from reasonably foreseeable types of hazards. That means keeping equipment in good working order, securing objects such as free weights that could cause injury if left lying around, cleaning up puddles of water and spills in locker rooms, and making sure there's adequate security so that patrons don't become the victims of violent crimes. Very, very, very big and an important one. And it's while we also, violent crimes are kind of clear, it's important to know that issues can fall under that general vicinity, such as stalking. I've had to deal with the issue in my own gym, as well as sexual harassment. There's a lot of things that fall into this that owners and leaderships have a responsibility to make sure that they are addressing. And I'm going to quote John Maxwell, world-renowned leadership expert again, who said, everything rises and falls on leadership. Because you, as an owner or leader, could say, well, it was a janitor, it was this person. No, at the end of the day, it's all about you because you own the facility. So keep that in mind. All right, second, we've got the Rosenfeld Injury Lawyers website, who state the following types of accidents are all examples of cases in which negligence is a contributing factor. Number one, a fitness machine malfunctions and a person is injured. Number two, a defect in a weight machine causes injury. Number three, and this is a big one, and I'm going to actually expound upon this one as they have. You trip or fall due to gym clutter. It is the responsibility of gym employees to ensure that the areas accessed by members are kept free and clear of hazards. If a member leaves free weights scattered on the ground, he or she may be directly responsible if another member trips, but it is ultimately the duty of gym employees to make sure that public areas are kept free from hazards. Again, I ask you, how is your facility? How do your employees know the importance of sweeping that facility, constantly making sure that machines are in working order, that you don't have stuff lying around, that it doesn't look like a Hoarders episode? And I will take this opportunity to do it yet again. I really commend Planet Fitness. I've been in a number of Planet Fitness, and I love the constant flow and the constant sweeping up of the area in terms of sweeping that facility and sweeping that floor to make sure stuff is where it's supposed to be. Because Planet Fitness is a beginner's gym. They're very concerned about liability and protecting themselves, and they do a really good job of making sure their facilities are good and clean and free of debris and clutter. Lastly, a defect in a home gym or home fitness machine results in an injury. They go on to say, home fitness products can cause harm if they are manufactured with defects, and a person has a right to seek compensation should any machine they've purchased fail to perform to its intended purpose. So 4 big ones. I'm actually going to highlight a case. Now, I really want everyone to pay attention here. Now, if you're at a larger, again, your Lifetime Fitness, your LA Fitness, those are corporately owned. They've got general counsel, they've got attorneys in-house that have laid out very specific policies and procedures. And what I want to encourage the private, the independent franchises, the private gym owners, whatever the case may be, you all, particularly if you don't have the policies and procedures in place, systematic ways of dealing with problems and issues and liabilities and potential negligence issues, you've got to make sure that things are put into place. You've got to have systems, policies, and procedures. And your corporate facilities are going to have a team that's dedicated to doing that. Everything from the layout, the way the facilities are laid out, to minimize, reduce the chances of risk and liability and negligence. I want to encourage the independent franchisees to do the same, to make sure that your stuff is on top of what it should be. They need to make sure your stuff is good. Okay, want to highlight a quick case here. Big one. Personal trainer. So a person sued a facility in New York based on the personal trainer. Okay, so specifically, this happened in New York. The woman was exercising with her personal trainer, presumably pumping mad iron, when the trainer advised her to try out a new exercise using strange equipment on a machine. Okay, she was hesitant at first because she had never done the exercise before, but continued anyway after the reassurance of her trainer. During the course of the exercise, the woman's foot got caught on a piece of equipment, causing her to fall backwards and fracture both of her wrists. The injury was bad enough that she had to miss 4 months worth of work, requiring pins in her wrist. The lawsuit brought against the trainer and the gym alleged the trainer was negligent in having the woman perform an unfamiliar exercise. The gym's defense was that the woman signed a contract assuming a risk of injury. The woman's lawyers deftly pointed out that the contract specifically holds the gym liable for injury due to the negligence of the gym or its employees. Shortly thereafter, of course, this went to a jury trial. Shortly thereafter, a jury decided that the gym was entirely to blame. Before damages could be awarded, though, the defense settled with the woman for $300,000. All right, now this particular case was highlighted on the lawyer.com blog. And so whether it's a personal, and actually I've spent 2 days reviewing cases, reviewing legal cases, reviewing legal summaries of lawsuits filed against gym and fitness facilities across the country. And there have been a lot of them. I, of course, didn't get to a lot of them, but I've studied and I spent a lot of time reviewing a lot of those cases. And so recognize liability is a serious issue. Accountability is absolute. You've got to have accountability in your specific facility, because next episode, I'm going to review several different cases, additional cases in which you'll see kind of how this liability issue has come into play and negligence has come into play. But what I can encourage you to do right now is just really take responsibility. Take your gym and your facility seriously. Take your members seriously. Okay? You want to create an environment where members are happy, where everything is good, where people, and again, will everyone be happy all the time? Absolutely not. But it's imperative that you as the leader, that you as the owner of the facility, set the tone in terms of what happens and what doesn't happen in your facility. And so, again, learn from me. I've had a number of you reach out to me and say, Rachelle, I'm so sorry this has happened to you, but your situation that you've been dealing with at your gym has helped me in so many different ways. And I'm so grateful that you all about 7 or 8 of you have really kind of responded to my father's insights, his more than 30 years of experience in managing and leading fitness facilities and sports clubs and things like that. And my father's a very smart man, and he's a very smart man, has a lot of experience, and certainly if any of you want to just get some free advice and insight from him, certainly message me and I'd be happy to put you in touch. But he just really kind of shakes his head at my own situation, because he's like, you know what, Rachelle, the solution to what you've been dealing with is so simple. And I'll share some additional thoughts, but if you ever quote him, just make sure to give him credit. It's Oscar Smith Jr. down in Louisiana. So my dad's additional thoughts in terms of how it relates to leadership, fitness facility leadership, in terms of what I've been dealing with. And he said, Rachelle, okay, so March 10th, went in and filed the police report, So a couple months later, now they're actually keeping an eye on him in the facility and whatever, and they're probably very proud of themselves for doing that. But what I want you to know is that you never want to have a situation that isn't resolved. The reason why you're still documenting every day is because the situation is still ongoing. And he said, this is a situation where you have leadership that clearly it doesn't really kind of understand what's going on and have policies and procedures in place that would have addressed this and nipped this in the bud early on. But his advice and his thoughts, and of course I'm going to share those with you because 7 or 8 of you have communicated to me that this is really helping you, is you don't want to have a situation where you have someone documenting, continuing to document. As he stated, there's three groups of people who like documentation: human resource departments, law enforcement, and lawyers. And those are the three. And he's like, Rachelle, especially somebody like you that's so meticulous, and that's true. I'm a very strong documenter, and I've got pictures and everything for this particular scenario. So he's like, you don't want to create that situation for anyone, any member of your gym. Deal with the problem head on. That requires confidence. That requires courage. And in my own leadership book, that's why confidence and courage were my first 2 chapters of the book, because leadership's going to require you to step up, make some decisions, but I strongly encourage you, and my father strongly encourages you to do so to protect your facility. And again, it's all about making sure the members are good. So essentially, solve the problem. And he said, I know they're probably very proud of themselves now. They're keeping an eye on you and all of this and that, and keeping an eye on him, but they can't watch you forever, Rachelle. So what, 5-10 years from now, are they still going to be watching? That's going to be almost impossible. Don't, as he stated, as a leader, as a fitness facility leader, don't, actually any type of leader, don't put that type of expectation, don't put that type of demand on an employee to kind of banish that situation. It's up to you to nip it in the bud, to reduce and eliminate the risk. As he stated, you all are both in there at the same time. From a liability standpoint, that is a very bad situation. And in fact, law enforcement definitely agrees with that perspective, as they said, I really hope that you guys can end up coming in there at different times, and he can come in at a different time, because it's only a matter of time before things are going to flare up. So anyway, take care of the problem that needs to be taken care of. Have the courage and the confidence to address situations. Be proactive. If a situation, like I'm going to talk about in the next episode, some of these next case studies where fitness facilities are basically face situations, if certain things happen to you, what do your employees, have they been trained? Do you have policies and procedures? Do they know what to do? Most importantly, from an accountability standpoint, how involved are you in the process? Because you as the leader, as you as the owner in particular of these independent franchises, need to be on the phone from a customer service standpoint, from a public relations standpoint. You've got to make sure you're on the phone with this individual or individuals communicating. I understand this happened. Can you tell me more about what happened? Is there anything I can do? Because that type of involvement, that type of accountability can really help to kind of decrease the level of issues, liability issues, or anything like that involving a situation. So it's important to get involved early. Okay, I understand this happened, or I understand this, a gym member or gym employee, one of my employees reported this to me, or I want to make sure to communicate with you ASAP, and this is what I understand happened. Can you confirm? Can we talk about it? And this is what I plan to do. But if you don't have any policies and procedures, you're not going to be able to explain to that person what you're going to do. And I can tell you from personal experience, the worst thing can happen is you go to the front desk and ask what a particular policy is involving an issue, like I did in my particular case, what's your stalker policy? And the person has no clue. So you don't want anyone to kind of get caught sleeping at the switch. So you want to make sure your people know you've got policies and procedures, regardless of different types of scenarios that can happen in your gym, because having empowered, informed employees that are accountable to you ultimately, because at the end of the day, it's all about you. So what I'm going to do is spend some more time next time talking about specific cases. But this is what I live for, folks. If I can help one gym owner, I know I've helped several of you, but this is what I live for. I want to see the fitness industry thrive. I want to see each and every fitness facility and gym on this planet thrive. I want you all to be prosperous. I want you all to be successful, but I also want you to be accountable to make sure things are handled appropriately at your specific facility. So thanks so much for your time, and I look forward to continuing this conversation next time. Make it a wonderfully fit day.